bright. You literally can't beat it.
And on we'll go.
I bet you the majority of you are watching this video on your phone. Something that Emily and I did, we went an entire day without our phones. From the moment we woke up to the moment we went to bed. We didn't check our phone, we didn't text anybody, we didn't open it. So I'm gonna go through the three themes, the three things that I noticed, that I learned about myself, about not having my phone, that I wanna share with you guys, and why I would encourage you to do the same and try to go at least one day per week without your phone. Get ready for meal number one. It's not very flashy. That's it. Scoop of protein powder, 10 grams of almond butter. So this is, a lot of the full day of eatings that I've done before have been like on an off day, on like a day I'm not training, so the meals are a little bit different. But this, straight up, what I eat basically Monday through Saturday. Best tasting protein powder on the planet. We have Fruity Pebbles from Dymatize, and then it's just 10 grams of almond butter. So this is meal one. Generally, I don't blend it. I'm gonna put some ice in here and some water and make it a little bit thicker. I just do the protein powder in a shaker and I drink it when I get to work. But because it's Saturday morning, have a little bit more time, I'm gonna blend it up, make it a little bit thicker, keeps me a little bit fuller. Brian took more food away from me, just a little bit, but we did hit a new low weigh-in this morning. It was 188.6. So it's working. That's meal one. Okay, so update. I made a little frap. So it's a little liquidy. Tried to throw a little bit more ice in there. I thought, why not try to make a little frappuccino, which Java chip, Starbucks, best one you'll ever have. So I added a little bit more ice to try and volumize it a little bit more. And then I used my fat-free, super low calorie whipped topping. And look at that. Look at that. The first is pretty obvious. You're a lot more productive. So the second that I woke up, I was ready to get out of bed. I was ready to do something because I was just motivated to not be on my phone. Now it is a little bit different. It kind of hard in the beginning of the day because you're so used to checking it. As the day went on, it definitely got easier to just kind of forget about the phone, forget about the messages and things like that. And instead of checking your phone, you know, being on your phone 10, 15, 20 minutes, multiple times per day, you're taking that time, you know, that 100 to 200 minutes. If you can relate to me, my average screen time is anywhere between 4 and 6 hours per day, and that's a big reason why I wanted to do this. You have so much more time to dedicate into other things. And while Emily and I didn't go out and do anything, we were able to be really productive and deep cleaning the apartment, cooking, and doing different things like that. So it really opened us up to doing other things and just gives you back so much more of your time that you don't realize you're spending on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. Twitter is a big one too, and things like that. Meal number two. That's not my meal number two. That's Miss Emily's meal. Generally, you know, during the week, we go to the gym after work, so later in the afternoon. So I've basically had all but one of my meals by the time I've gone to the gym. But today, being Saturday, we aren't going to Alpha Land. We are going to work out in the apartment gym. And because it's still a little bit early, we're going to go earlier rather than later. So meal number two is actually the pre-workout meal. Looks extremely appetizing, but I promise you, this is by far my favorite meal of the day. It's 30 grams of cream of rice, 110 grams of a banana, 1 scoop. It's about 30 grams of Fruity Pebbles protein again. And then in there as well, I have cinnamon and 16 grams of almond butter. So for today, this is meal number two. We'll see you at meal number three, post-workout. The second thing that we kind of learned or noticed about our days was how much more present we were. And I know I talked about how we just kind of stayed at the apartment, so we didn't go out and do anything. It was almost a liberating feeling, knowing my phone was in my room face down, not checking it at all, and knowing that I could just move about the apartment, move about the complex, doing cardio and things like that without thinking about checking my phone. And yes, I did do an hour of cardio without it. I have an Arnold Schwarzenegger book. It's like a biography about his life, about bodybuilding, things like that. And I read that book for the entire hour that I was on the treadmill. I was one of those people that I used to judge, like, how do you read on a treadmill? It was actually really fun, and time went faster. So if you want to try it, try reading on the treadmill. But it was just a liberating feeling, being able to move around the apartment and do different things, and even just sit on the couch with Emily without thinking about going on Twitter. And again, in the morning it was a little bit difficult because it was a change of pace for us, but overall it allowed us to just kind of be with each other more and be at the apartment more, not even thinking about checking different social medias and things like that. Here we have meal number 3. Super basic, just chicken. It's about 170 grams of chicken breast, 100 grams of broccoli, and then my little avocado things. This is the spicy one, just to switch it up. I did spicy the first time. I've been doing the regular as of recently, but wanted to go back to the spicy. Basically have another meal that looks just like this in a little while. So that's that. We'll see you for meal 4. And as promised, we're back for meal number 4. Basically looks the exact same as the other one, but just with one other ingredient. So we have another 170 grams of the chicken. We have 100 grams of the broccoli, but the extra item is a sweet potato. So no, I'm not gonna eat it like this. I haven't cooked it yet. So I have about 100 grams of an uncooked sweet potato, and that, I'm just gonna cook it in the microwave really quick. If you microwave it for like 2.5 minutes or so, it basically bakes it, which is super quick and super easy. Especially for me, with checking in as often as I do, I don't like to make as much of my sweet potatoes, or when I have the rice. So this is a quick way I do it. So this is meal number 4. We will catch you back later for meal number 5. We're running out. So very last meal of the day here. Super basic, super simple. We have 170 grams of 93.7 ground beef and just another 100 grams of broccoli. So again, this meal I put the sweet potato in, but I ended up doing that with some chicken earlier. Just tried to mix it up a little bit. So this is the last meal. I've been loving mustard recently too, a Dijon. I'm usually not a big mustard guy, but just to kind of switch up the palate. Mustard, great, low, basically no calorie condiment. So that's the last meal. It's, again, super basic. With all the calories and macros and everything on the screen somewhere, that's that. Not a lot of food at 8 weeks out here, but we're pushing along. We're 8 weeks today, so we're moving. The very last thing is something that I didn't anticipate at all. Just how overwhelmed I became when we went on our phones right before we went to bed. So we had to go on our phones to set our alarms and things like that, and then we kind of puttered through social media, caught up on things, and I realized the second I got on my phone, I became very anxious, very overstimulated, didn't know what to do, where to go, with the different social media like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I try to post on these social media platforms daily, and so I wasn't used to this overstimulation of these apps and just being on the phone. I didn't realize just how much dopamine is produced when you go on your phone throughout the day. And that's why we check it so often. That's why your screen time is 4, 5, 6 hours a day. It's because every time you go on, you get a little dopamine release for going on Instagram and seeing a notification or getting a text or a Snapchat and different things like that. So when I was going to bed that night, I became very overwhelmed, very anxious. That's something to really, really consider when doing this, is you really cut back on the amount of dopamine throughout the day, which makes the dopamine spikes throughout the day that much greater, because it's not just oversaturated or overstimulated. That's something to really think about. If you are going to cut your phone time back or just cut it all at once like that, then you need to really ease yourself back in, because I went from going on my phone, we'll call it 5 hours a day, to no hours, all day, nothing, and then right back all at once. And I got anxious, and it took me a while to fall asleep after that because I became so anxious. So those are just some things that we learned, and I definitely think that once per week, whether it's a Saturday or Sunday, I know it's harder during the week because you're in school or you are working, but definitely I think on the weekends you should try to do a full day. I definitely would recommend it. I think it's something that Emily and I have talked about doing more than once, wanting to do it consistently, because it is a great way to step back and just be more present. And so I would highly recommend you try it. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe below if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. I hope you guys give this a try. If you do, feel free to comment on the video when you're gonna try, or if you did, how it affected you and how you liked it. But I want to thank you guys for watching. So be yourself, be kind to others, and of course, trust your process. I appreciate you guys tuning in today, and we will see you in the next one.